Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
The meeting now is called to order. We would like to have Board Marshal to give us our invocation, please.
Let every heart pray. Most holy and all wise God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to call upon your holy name. We ask you to bless this meeting, that it would be a big success. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, we have a new member. We would like to welcome Mr. Brian Jackson to the meeting as a liaison to community development. Like you to go around the table and introduce yourself to everyone who don't know you.
Marshall
I
Wright.
think most people do, but it'd be nice that you would.
Okay. Again, I'm Brian Jackson. I'm glad to be a part of this group, and hopefully I could lend something, that can be used throughout the course of me serving on this board.
We're glad to have you.
From you guys.
Marshall Wright, I think as I look around, I've been on longer than anybody. I think I've been on since 1987. So glad to have you with us as well.
Thank you.
Betty Dawson.
Tracy Jackson, Community Engagement Manager here with the city.
Pamela Trafton, Community Engagement Coordinator with the city.
Lily Gray, Interim Community Engagement Director and the Staff Liaison to this committee.
Gordon Marshall, a member. Been here so long, I don't know how.
Steve Forney, and I also have been here quite a while.
Thank you.
And Paula Jones, I'm the vice chair and been here for a little while myself. Glad to have you.
Thank you, ma'am.
That goes for me too, and I've been around a long time myself. Been knowing you a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, moving right along, we have welcomed Brian Jackson. Now we want to adopt the agenda, please. I want you to review, let's adopt the agenda.
I move we adopt agenda as written.
Second.
Okay. The agenda has been adopted and approved as witness. All in favor?
Aye.
Same sign. Moving along, okay, now we have the approval of the minutes. Minutes on September the 7th and November the 2nd, 2007.
I move that the minutes for September 7th and November 2nd be
To
accepted
2017.
for 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Be
Second.
accepted.
I beg your pardon?
Second.
Okay. It has been moved and properly seconded that we accept the minutes as read. No necessary corrections.
Didn't see any.
All sign, same sign?
Aye.
Okay. It has been moved and, the minutes have been moved and approved. Okay, now we're down to, organizational matters, okay? And most of this tonight, I'm gonna throw it back to our community development specialist because this is something new to us and I don't wanna mess it up because I don't know what I'm talking about and she can explain it better than I can. So get it from the horse's mouth and that way you'll understand it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Glory. Tonight, we're actually meeting for the first time as a Community Engagement Advisory Committee. As many of you know, last year we went through a reorganization. And at that point, looking at the landscape, federal funding declining and the role of our staff declining and opportunities within the city, retirement of our director, just took some time to look at where we wanted to go. And with that, we decided to reorganize as a department, which also affected this committee. So the Community Development Advisory Committee was restructured as a Community Engagement Advisory Committee. With that restructuring is a discussion, there's a need to reappoint officers to officially serve in the capacity as chair and vice chair for this new committee. And the options that you have before you tonight and talking with the city clerk would be to have the existing officers, Ms. Gloria and Ms. Paula, continue to serve through June of 2018, which is the end of our fiscal year, which is when we would have election of new officers anyway. Or if you would like, you may appoint new officers to serve for now through June of 2018 as the new officers for the Community Engagement Advisory Committee. So that's the first order of business that you would decide. If you would like to continue with the new officers, that's appropriate. If you would like to appoint new officers, that's appropriate. But in any case, we will have elections again, the first meeting in the fiscal year, which would be for us July, I believe it's July. No, June. It'll be June. August.
End of June.
August, I'm
Whenever the
sorry.
next
The
meeting
next
is.
meeting,
Yeah,
August.
July.
The year turns
Yeah.
over in
The
July.
year turns over July, so we
Yeah.
will vote again in August, I apologize. So that's,
Okay.
if you guys would like to comment on that, any preference?
Yeah. Well, I motion that we extend our officers' tenure throughout June, until the new cycle. And second?
Second.
Okay.
Okay.
It has been moved and properly second that we keep the officers until June when we do a reorganization of it. And everybody agree with that?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Let's move on.
Okay. The other thing that you should know as a committee is that the committee will still have 9 members. 7 members shall reside, within the city limits, but we've amended the ordinance to allow for 2 of those members, or 2 of those seats to be held, or they may be held by people who reside within Onslow County if they are representing houses of worship or a business within the city limits. Now, the reason that's important is we have our mayor's faith leaders group that's been meeting. They've been real instrumental in advising the mayor on things affecting the community, and this is where the One City campaign was born out of. That campaign was a 1-year campaign. So as that kind of winds down, we didn't want to lose the input of those committee members, so we've provided an opportunity for them to continue to serve and engage the community through this effort. Also, we recognize that community engagement impacts businesses. And so that to the extent that there may be some business owners within the city that would like to serve on this committee, that opportunity now exists as well. And we know that may also be extremely important as we work on downtown revitalization. We're close with our businesses here. We have some interest in working with that community of people that they may desire to serve in this capacity. So that's an option if we need it. At any rate, still can be 9 members all within the city, but the door is open for our non-city residents. Also wanted to share that we have another vacancy. Those who may not know, Dr. Will Artis resigned. He took a position in San Diego, California, so he is gone. So we now have 3 vacancies on our board. So we're asking our members, if you know of anybody that's interested in serving, please let us know. Encourage them to apply for appointment. We will also be working with our media service team to continue to promote that we do have opportunities, not only on this board, but other city boards as well. Also wanted you to know that the purpose of this committee has shifted because of our new role, and this is taken directly from our city ordinance. Purpose of this committee is to advise and assist the city on matters of community engagement. This includes identifying opportunities to enhance communications and engagement with citizens and foster livable neighborhoods in all residential areas of the city. So to the extent that we've already established the Office of Livable Neighborhoods, and we've got some pilot programs working. We're working now to identify our next neighborhood, but we've also undertaken community engagement activities. The Citizen Academy is now in our purview. Youth Council, Harmony, adoptive programs, those type of community engagement activities we're now responsible for. And also looking at strategies and ways that we can continue to engage, whether it's through neighborhood watch groups, forums, meetings that we can hear back from our citizens, opportunities to go out and speak in different capacities through civic groups and of that nature. That will be more of our role. So we'll be more visible in the community beyond the community development areas where we've typically worked in. So to the extent that this group will now provide a voice to us, advice to us on how we can best do that even better than what we've done and enhance it and find new ways and ideas for doing that and being as creative as we can. And then, of course, the Community Development Advisory Committee is now a subcommittee of this committee. So all of you as Community Engagement Committee members that were previously Community Development Advisory Committee are now subcommittee members. So you will meet as needed to carry out the work of the Community Development Department. The community input meetings, reviewing the nonprofit applications, providing feedback on our action plan, our 5-year plan. you'll continue to do that. And then as a subcommittee, report back up to the full advisory committee. So that'll be your role. And then that purpose, of course, continues to provide input and advice to staff as to the plan of work for the community development program. You'll continue to review our progress toward meeting HUD's performance measures that we've established, that we've, our budget, the activities, our goals, and monitor our accomplishments to make sure we're staying on track with the federal funds. So you'll still hear reports back up from staff on what is going on in the world of community development. And that's the organizational changes as they are now. If anybody has any questions, anything I may not have covered for you.
I just had, well, this is not anything we need to take action on, so
No.
this is for information.
Yes.
And do you anticipate that the goal is to have this committee and what we used to call CDAC have different memberships? In other words,
No,
You
it would
wouldn't
still be, it
necessarily
wouldn't
have
have
a
different
mix.
memberships. They would all be the same members. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
But what she's saying is we'll be doing two different things.
I will say this, the only change will be the subcommittee is only designated to have 5 members, where this has 9. So you'll appoint 5 members from here to go work on the subcommittee work. So it would not be all 9, so I do want to clarify that.
and it seems like that group will now become, not mission is not the word I'm looking for, but oriented toward a particular issue. In other words, not the global issues of community engagement, but like you said, when it
Community
comes
development.
time to approve an application for something or something specific, you know.
Yes, that would,
that would be-
that smaller group will focus on the CDBG portion of what we do.
Okay,
Which would be budget,
Budget,
1-year plan, 5-year plan.
yep, the
HUD
activities, the HUD
specific.
specific stuff.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And again, I correct myself, that would be 5 of the 9 would serve on the
But
subcommittee.
it'll be out of the same committee,
But out
right?
of the same group, yeah. And I
Out of
think
the same
currently,
9.
yes, currently we have 5, that's why it's all of you right now.
oh, okay, I got you. What I was trying to figure out, okay.
We have 6
Yeah.
members, I'm sorry,
Okay.
6 of you right now, but we'll
What I was
continue.
saying, okay.
Yes,
Something I wanted to ask her.
okay, and that's all I have for that, so, next item on the agenda is,
Okay, planning update?
Planning board update, and I think everybody knows that the planning board only meets when there is something that is outside current ordinances. So we actually had meetings canceled in December and then again in February. But as certain highlights, probably since the last time we met, there had been a special ad hoc committee report put out that was identifying why there was problems with contractors being able to do business within the city limits. And as part of that, we had a full report and changes, and some of them had to do with sidewalks, some of them had to do with bonding, you know, some of the, and we're talking not just residential house, we're talking whole residential areas. And this particular report was briefed to us at the planning board, presented to city council, and it was in fact approved. So there's a hope that there's more friendly arena of development within the city now. That was kind of a major issue as such. Another major issue was that many years ago, the city of Jacksonville expanded their ETJ, that area where people had to live up to
Right.
city standards as such. And that was even before Hurricane Floyd and all of the new actual codes and everything else were developed. Well, all of that has gone away. I mean, everybody operates under the same codes, and those ETJ areas have been released. They're now 100% within the county, and the city inspectors no longer have to get involved. Cost savings as far as the city, as far as inspections and that. And locally, right down here in downtown, Niche Motorsports is going to be opening a facility just up the street. And they had one change in what was not previously authorized. And that was they could display cars from the showroom. And the planning board, along with council, approved that as a way of promoting the use of the downtown area. And these cars, and specifically motorcycles, are high-end. They're gonna be rebuilding old vintage things and displaying them out on the front street here. Now, there has been a good 200 to 300 permits issued each month. So there is activity, and, you know, a few extra businesses coming into town, potential CarMax, Gateway Marketing, another Arby's, Reload Drugs, another facility, McDonald's. They're going off all over the place, you know. And we did have another code change on Brookwood Baptist, and that was to let them go from their original residential setting into what's specifically a conditional and institutional, meaning they can have some office spaces. They did close down that daycare.
Right, right,
And they're looking for how they can provide services.
right.
And this gives them more of an opportunity.
That makes sense.
That was recommended and then approved by council.
Glad to see that.
Okay?
They're excited about it too.
Hmm?
They're excited about it.
Yeah.
Some
Any-
members
Doing
there.
daycare type
No.
services.
No, not that,
No.
no, the house that they had.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That was closed, they was just sitting there.
Any questions?
Back to the Mitch cars, you said it's gonna be downtown?
Yes.
I saw
Just
something
up the
about it
street
on
a block.
G10, I think, but I couldn't figure out where they was gonna put it. I'm saying, where they gonna put
Just up the
this?
street
Just
and on the
up
right-hand
street,
side.
On the same side of the street, past the post office in the next block, the corner of, Lord, I can't tell you the name of that.
Is it
corner.
warm?
Next to the old movie theater?
No, it's not that far down.
No?
Okay.
It's up closer to this end of City Hall.
Is it cleaner?
It was the old Garrick's
What?
office
Oh,
supply.
okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah.
that building, if I'm getting the name
Oh,
correct.
okay, yes, Garrett's Office Supply.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Is there
really?
enough room to work on cars and motorcycles there?
Most of the work, the actual paint, the body work and all that is being done off-site.
Oh, okay.
And this,
Right, it's not gonna.
there's maybe some detail work being done there, but it's basically their showroom,
Oh, okay.
you know, so they could have more traffic going by the frontage of it.
And there's a full upstairs, because it used to be, they sold office furniture out there.
Oh,
On the upstairs.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
big up there. Doesn't seem like it from the outside, but when you get up there, it's pretty good space.
Okay. Any other questions? That concludes
Oh.
my report.
Very good. Seems like we got a lot of stuff coming. We need more room and more highways. Anyway, volunteer recognition dinner that's coming on April the 10th. And I believe that, the invitation is on your, email.
And they have it
Because
here
I
tonight
did
as
see
well.
one on mine and they said cut off the end and send it back to City Hall, fill it out.
Well, I did mine.
Yes.
Or
we
if
have
you
it
got
tonight.
one here tonight, you can
Yes,
fill it
ma'am.
out and leave it, can't you?
Yes, please.
I think. What happened to mine? I know it's here somewhere. But anyway, we'll fill them out tonight and so we'll have them out the way. Oh, there it is. Okay, community engagement, Lily.
All righty, before I get started, I wanted to introduce a special guest we have tonight, Mr.
Okay.
Michael Onifer is with us from Restored Church, but he's actually here in his capacity as a member of the Chamber's leadership class for 2018. So he's
Okay.
asked to shadow us for the next couple of months so he can learn more about community development
nice.
and community engagement. And a very good meeting with him this afternoon, and an awesome asset and resource, a friend of the city.
Well, first I want to apologize for being late, but my wife is great with child, as they say, and it was my night to cook dinner, so. you guys
We
have to take
understand.
that
Sound like
credit.
you didn't be
So I
late
apologize
where you were.
but Whooped up a good stir fry, and everybody's happy.
Glad to have you.
Welcome. Thank you. Community engagement, this is of course new, so going forward, we will present you with our work plan. The things that we're working on are Citizen Academy, Youth Council activities, Harmony, our nonprofit executive roundtable activities, you'll hear more about those. The annual nonprofit conference is part of our work plan. The adoptive program is part of our work plan. We are promoting that and taking applications for adoptive program. Of course, our Office of Livable Neighborhoods outreach efforts. We have identified Overbrook as our next neighborhood that we're going to recommend that City Council authorize us to work with organizing. And then we have our internal neighborhood impact teams. And I wanted to ask Pamela if she could give you a brief update on a few community engagement activities that we've undertaken just recently and what's coming up in the area of community engagement.
Good evening again. So just a brief update. Last Saturday, the 17th, was our 2018 Mayor Youth Leadership Summit. It was a Saturday. Registration started at 9 and we ended at 3 o'clock. And we had a total of 75 participants checked in. And that includes middle schoolers from 8th grade, high school to 12th. And we had some adult advisors as well. So it was really well attended for it to be a kind of jury cold Saturday. And the question was, how did we get so many of the youth out for the actual summit? So it was well attended. The topics that we talked about, LaToya Scott from Final Touch Models, she spoke on self-esteem and etiquette. Don Rochelle, Onslow County Partnership for Children, she spoke on teen suicide prevention and finding out one of her biggest takeaways, I think, for us was 5 seconds. That from the time that you decide you're going to do something, you have 5 seconds to come up with an excuse if you're going to do it or not do it. So it was very well, like for the rest of the event, anytime somebody was asked to do something, everybody was yelling out, 5 seconds, 5 seconds. So that was huge. And then our last speaker was Deontay Williams from White Oak High School. He's also has his book currently out, My Breaking Point. And his topic was finding your passion and purpose in life. And then we ended it with a DJ and a photo booth. So it was very well attended. The youth enjoyed themselves. When I talked with them later, they didn't realize it was for 5 hours, so they didn't even feel like it was 5 hours. So that was great. The next thing that the Youth Council is coming up with this Thursday is our monthly meeting on the 1st, but we're also celebrating Dr. Seuss Read Across America. So we are starting, and you have a flyer, looks like on your, with your paperwork. We are starting at 5:30, and we are inviting elementary and younger kids to come out for the Youth Council members to actually read to them before we do our meeting. So that is going to be their service to the youth. And if you have any high school students, you are more than welcome to keep them. If we have any high school students that are not part of the Youth Council, by all means, let them come out as well. And then the last thing that we have for your calendar is Harmony, which is the philanthropy group, which is a branch of the Youth Council. We have our grant celebration March 15th at 5:30 at the Youth Center across the street. And this is where there are 12 other members of the Youth Council that are part of Harmony. And they have learned how to become grant givers to other youth organizations. So we had Fred Baker, who is from Lead Into Change, which is out of Charlotte. He came down and actually taught the youth how to review grants, how to send out the request for proposal as well. And then they spent a Saturday as well going over the actual applications. And from going over the applications, they decided which organizations was going to receive X amount of dollars. And March 15th is our day to actually award the grants to them and make it a huge celebration. So that's going to be March 15th at 5:30 at the Youth Center.
Excuse me. Thank you, Pam. And so as you can see, as we undertake these community engagement activities, we're definitely going to need your work to help promote, to help be present, encourage attendance within your network, churches, sororities, civic organizations, family, friends, schools. We really want to make sure that we have maximum attendance at our events, and this one was definitely well attended. The mayor was also present to do the welcome, his summit, and I think it was really well received and well attended, so we're very proud of that. So,
Do you have flyers for the grant celebration or the?
Yes, ma'am. I can
Some chance, can you
either email or print out before we leave.
email it?
Email, I was gonna say, because I think a
I can
lot of
print
us have, youth organizations we work with that might be interested and may or may not know about.
Okay. I'll put it on the email that Lily sent out. I'll attach it to that one.
And then if we have something that we'd like to get to the youth council, can we just send it to you all?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And one of the things too that Pam and I have talked about with the youth council is bringing in more speakers to speak to them on various leadership and civic topics and things of interest to the youth. And so you'll be hearing more about those as well. As an example, with this Harmony program, it's youth, a group of youth that are making funding decisions about other youth groups that should receive funding. And one of the things, we did very well this year, but what I would encourage you to do is as we repeat this yet next year, we're always looking for youth-led organizations to apply for the funds. And these can be church groups, it can be if you have a youth group within your sorority, just a group of high school kids that have gotten together and have a project idea. They just need an adult leader to oversee it, but they need to be the ones making decisions of how they want to impact the community. So if you know of any youth groups that have not connected with this, next year we want to make sure when you hear about the announcement again, that we stress the importance of getting them involved. Okay, next is Ms. Jackson.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Going to the minutes part of the Community Development Subcommittee. We will meet as needed to discuss project accomplishments, events, funding, plans, and report. And tonight I have to report that we have 2 rehabs that are underway. We have 4 rehab applications that are being considered. I also have a demolition on Hargett Street. And wanted to also report that March 17th, we're going to have our home buyer education class. Cost of the class is $10, as I always announce.
What's the date, I'm sorry?
March 17th. It's on a Saturday. It's from 8 to 5. I will say space is very limited. I already have 16 participants registered for the class, so I'm only going to allow 4 more people. So if you will, if anyone in our viewing audience would like to attend, please call 910-938-5286 to inquire about that. I also wanted to announce that through our partnership with the North Carolina Community Development Association, we are bringing a data to knowledge workshop here to Eastern North Carolina. It's a very popular workshop that was held in the western part of the state, and through my being a member of that committee, I was able to bring that training here to Eastern North Carolina. So with data to knowledge, it tells all about how you can use the GIS mapping system, and if you have any pending questions about where resources should be held, which should be spent, and where your time should be spent, this is an excellent opportunity for you to come and learn how to ask the right questions, get it to the GIS person, and they will create a map that will clearly show where your resources should be. So it's very popular, and especially when we're doing our action plans and our 5-year plans, and even our fair housing plan that's coming up. So that's going to be March 9th. There is a fee for that, but you can, if you contact me, you can register. I can send you the link to register for the class, and it's going to be held at the Center for Public Safety on March 9th from 9 to 3, and just let me know whether or not you want to attend. Also, wanted to give you an update on our action plan. Looking at the schedule, we have had our public information meeting at the Sandy Run Missionary Baptist Church, and we had that January the 18th. February the 6th and the 7th, we had a CDBG Public-Private Partnership Funding Opportunity Workshop. With that, applications were given out, and wanted to let you know that March 5th, the applications are due. So we are on schedule. wanted to move into nonprofit funding, the subcommittee members are asked to serve on the grant application review panel. It's going to be held Tuesday and Wednesday, March 13th and 14th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We're going to have the CDBG funding application review first, and then we'll move into the public-private partnership for general funds on the next day. It's going to be held here at City Hall, and I'll be sending you all an email out tomorrow morning to see whether or not you all would like to participate. Always looking forward to having our CDAP members give input.
You said 13th and 14th of March,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
and here. And what's the time on that application?
From 10 to 12 p.m.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, and then soon after that, we'll have to have a draft of the action plan on March 18th. And by Tuesday, the 17th, the deadline for citizens' comment will be added to the plan. And also that same day, that same night, we're gonna have a public hearing at the City of Jacksonville Council meeting to approve the final action plan for submittal to HUD by May 15th. So we are on schedule, and I am looking forward to doing this first time this year. So I'm very excited to put together this plan. I know Ms. Gray, she's moved into her role, and I'm moving into this role. So I'm very excited to have this opportunity. And that's all I have.
Is there any questions?
Any questions?
You said the applications, they're due back, well,
March the 5th, they're gonna be due back.
in March the 5th,
And then we're gonna review them March 13th
13th and
and
14th.
14th.
Can anyone still get applications, or they can? Okay, they
But
just
they
have
need to
to
come
really,
in. If they have not received funding in the past, they need to meet one-on-one with Tracy,
okay.
so they can have their, technical assistance meeting, so they.
And it will
understand.
help them.
Yeah.
Is there a time limit date on that they should meet with Tracy?
Whenever they call, I'm willing to meet. I've met with someone over the phone and had some input, answered some questions. So they can call me and, get some input.
But this is just March already.
You need to write something.
Yeah,
Not a lot of
that's why I was
Yeah,
saying
that's why.
March already, and they
March
just
is-
now asking
March is
for it. That's
Thursday.
kind of short, span.
And your deadline is Monday to get it back to you.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, they have all weekend.
But I do remember that.
Oh, we can.
But
Okay.
I do recall you sending it out, and so it's been out
It's been out for a
for a
while.
while.
Oh, yeah, it was out the
There's some
6th,
detailed
the 7th of
applications.
February.
Gone through them.
Yeah, they
It's
know.
been out since then.
We did it last time. All right, one city. I'm giving it back to Lily. I throw the curtain.
Okay, this is our one city moment. I'm excited to let you know that back in December, I submitted an application to the National League of Cities to be considered for a Cultural Diversity Award. And in the population of 50,000 to 200,000 people, which we fall, we were selected as one of 2 finalists to be considered for this award. And it will be announced March the 12th at the National League of Cities Congressional City Conference Breakfast in Washington, D.C. They quoted from the campaign that this One City campaign is a shining example of diversity and total community collaboration and partnership. So very proud that it has made the cut for the top 2. We'll know if we took first place or second place in after the breakfast, and Councilman Willingham will be attending for the city as well as, Jesus. Councilman Jackson, that is 20 years of saying Councilman Willingham, I apologize. Councilman Jackson will be attending for the city, along with Mayor Pro Tem Lazara and Councilmember Washington, who is also very active in the National League of City programs, and brought this opportunity to the city last year, and we were not successful with our application last year, but this one we were, so we're excited.
That's awesome, that deserves a hand.
Good job.
So looking forward to
Bringing back first place, that's what I'm looking for.
All right.
And then, just as a reminder, this item is placed on the agenda as an opportunity. If you see things in the community that rise to the level worthy of recognition, you want to spotlight it or share it here, this is the time on the agenda to do that and acknowledge the good work that people are doing every day that they don't get recognized for, but reflects what the One City campaign is about. And I do apologize again, I'm sorry.
You do what?
I apologize. I forgot to just update you on one more project that we're doing. We're having our downtown housing initiative expanded. So now we're working in the area behind the Dunkin' Donuts in the Overbrook area. I have talked with 3 builders to see whether or not they have some interest in participating. So I am going to be having a meeting probably about the end of March to bring those builders on board so that we can expand and do our second phase of the of the housing initiative, because now we're moving, we do still have some lots downtown, but we also have some lots in other parts of the city. So I wanted to inform you of that, and with our subcommittee, you may be asked to sit in on that meeting with the developers, and so that you can give your input on what we want to see throughout the city in these different neighborhoods. Okay?
Where's Overbrook? You said over a
Phillips
couple
Park.
times.
Phillips
Where
Park.
about?
Phillips Park area.
Oh, okay. I was just there the other day.
Back on
Okay.
Sherwood,
Sherwood.
that area.
Sherwood, Queens,
Richlands Avenue.
Roosevelt.
By those DVA.
By
those
DAV
DVA
building.
When you turn
Behind the
on
Dunkin' Donuts
Yeah.
and Pizza Hut.
Henderson and go past
Okay.
the Mai Tai,
Okay, I follow you.
everything on that,
Yeah, on the
on
other
the same
side.
side of the street as the Mai Tai.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Phillips Park.
Going on
Been there.
over
I
to
know what
Shaney
Phillips
Creek.
Park is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't seeing it. You know, that map that's on the wall in front of you.
And 2 other things I forgot to mention that I want to put in a plug for. We have some activity going on downtown that you may have noticed or didn't notice, but we have our first 2 murals that are being installed, one on the Arts Council building and one on the Youth Council building. Those have been permitted through our downtown mural program. We also have our first downtown facade matching grant project underway, which is the Children's Museum. That's looking really, really nice, and so we have a few more applications in process, but want to let you know, if you haven't noticed it, and you see the paint going on, that's what's occurring.
So
The
who's that
murals.
artist? Who's
You know, I don't even know the name of the ladies. They was, the Arts Council, I should know the name, but it's been a while since we approved the art, so I can't remember her name, but I can get that for you. So,
And the last project that I wanted to mention, and I apologize, is the connectivity with the boardwalk. We are connecting that neighborhood with the existing boardwalk. So we have a project down there, and it should be completed at least by the end of this fiscal year.
another amenity for downtown. So, yes.
And this is just to continue on with the city side. During the report to citizens that was held a short time ago, they're going to continue downtown here with the improvements to the sidewalk and the whole aesthetics of the area. And there was a good briefing by Recreation as to the upgrades and enhancements that are going on at Northeast Creek Park, including a splash pad
Yes,
that's going to be developed there.
it's under construction.
And Anthony gave a great,
Transportation.
traffic analysis of certain enhancements at Western and 17 and at different corners throughout the city.
Right.
And one of the best things that he did was right out here on Marine Boulevard, coming this
Cheney.
way, is to put that,
Flashing.
used to be red arrow only, into a flashing one. That traffic has pretty much gone away, the backups.
Was that running on Channel 10?
It was.
Is it still-
Yeah, I'm not sure if it still is, but it's still available on the city's website. We have an
Oh, is it?
archive of all those
Yeah.
videos. so you can
Okay, because
still
I was
see
going
it.
to say, I've been telling people that if you haven't already, if you didn't get a chance to go,
Mm-hmm.
it is more than worth you sitting down in the house and putting it on TV and watching it, because all the spots that you can see, you have to really, it's hard to describe it, like, because I'm like, I can't place myself on a map. I need to see what it is you're talking about. And there was a whole lot going on, and very fast track in terms of time. I mean, I was surprised that between now and 2020, how much is going to be done to try to ease traffic patterns and things like that. I was just really, it was a very nice, overview.
Including plans for, Newbridge Street and improvements right here at Bay Shore, where the rain garden, that street kinda,
Yeah.
that weird intersection.
The
triangle.
The triangle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Plastic
what was
triangle.
said, but did he give a estimated time of completion for Northeast Creek Park updates?
I'm sure there was, I think everything had an
I don't
estimated
say
time,
it.
but I can't give it to you right off.
I talked to the rec department this
Yeah.
morning for another issue, and they're working on it. What I had heard was the summer of this year.
Yeah.
That's what I heard too.
See,
I know the splash
developmental,
pad will be
the actual
open.
developmental plan was approved back in October.
Because they're working as we speak on Northeast, because it's not even
City has to
available
go by
for,
code,
for
just like
rentals
private
right now.
developers do.
Okay, items for the city council consideration? Anyone for the next meeting? Anything you want to discuss, that goes to city council?
So much already going on.
Items on the next agenda, you have anything on mind? Put it
Yeah.
down, let it go to city council.
The only thing I would ask, and I don't know which one it involves now, but what's going on with the New River area?
Okay.
I see areas that look like they're being upgraded, but then I see areas that are falling behind and they're owned by the same,
Yeah, I would say within the last month or two, we've been in contact with new owners, another group
New
has
set.
taken over.
okay?
And,
Okay.
and Gary has been meeting with them, we have also re-engaged them, we offered them previously, demolition assistance for the building that burned and the building that had the tree. They're still working through the insurance company, so they haven't been able to say whether they're gonna need our assistance or not. So there was
The
discussion about the
Hardy
Harder
Street,
Street properties, but they plan to renovate them. And if they don't renovate, there's a possibility that we would end up doing demolition on one. But they're still doing work.
Okay.
Enough to where they keep the ball moving.
Yeah.
But no discussions on major revitalization at this point.
Eastwood keeps getting in the negative side of the violence market, and that's awfully close
Yeah,
to the other splash pad
yeah.
and recreation
Yeah,
facility.
yeah, it's on our radar. I know, Gary's out there often with his staff, and, I know we have community resource officers patrolling the areas as well.
We've been following them
Yeah,
for, since '94.
yeah, a long
I
time.
mean, you and I have.
I often tell folks, because Jack Amiot used to be the center of everything for us as
Yeah.
youth growing, but so when everything moved out to the commons, that's when the
There's
problems
still a
came
lot,
into that area.
well, there's
It's
still a
still a
lot
lot.
good stuff at Jack Amiot.
And yeah,
It's the unfortunate part is many of the people who live in that area are prime victims to people come from outside areas,
Right.
and that's a shame. They're the most vulnerable.
Our charter school, Zecca, that I work at part-time, we use the, Jack and me, we use the playground and basketball court, and, it's a short walk for the kids to go from, the school over there, and they love it.
yeah.
Our local Boys and Girls Club is right in that area, isn't it?
No,
Or
they
moved to
moved, it
be-
used to be.
That was
Yeah,
the
okay.
offices was down
Yeah,
there, but
they've
now they're at
relocated.
different,
Yeah.
actually, they're meeting at different schools around that area too.
But our community action agency is moving over
Over
there
there
to the
too.
building where the seafood,
So,
not seafood center, but there's an actual seafood,
Restaurant.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
there on the
That big
little
building
restaurant
on the
there,
corner.
that little
yeah,
building
on
over
the
there.
corner of the
Okay.
street.
And,
No one in there.
And so we'll be picking up on activities. We hosted a community, outdoor event at that whole Jack Amiet and the, park around it and all that last year in July. It was very
I remember
successful.
that, yeah.
And we plan to do it again. The date, as a matter of fact, is June 30th is our tentative date. But hoping that, by having a presence like that, it will encourage people to
Yes.
think about where they live and also think about their own destiny, because my mission this year is that people who are on programs from Head Start, almost when you're born, clear to Medicare and all that at the end, you need to start thinking about taking control of your own destiny. You really do, because the political situation is not friendly to you. And I just, there's a need for people to understand they have to help organizations that are trying to help them. You have to meet us halfway and help us do what we need to do to help you. And waiting on someone else to do all of it is just not the formula anymore. So being there and being willing to be right there, we're not away from some place where you have to leave and come find, we're right there looking at you. So I hope that it will make a very positive impact on people who live in the area.
I have one question. The old Piggly Wiggly, are they still working on that?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. City Council, as a matter of fact, just last week approved a 2-year extension. We've already invested community development block grant funds to help with some of the renovations, and the goal was to have it open by June of this year, 2018.
Yeah.
They're still working on fundraising. They've done a lot of work, but they're not gonna meet that goal. So now the goal is 2020 for them to be fully operational.
2020?
Yeah, it's expensive. It's some work on the inside that
Oh,
has
yeah.
to happen, and they've still gotta raise additional money to make it happen. So they're working on a capital campaign, some fundraising and grant writing opportunities. So we've given them the seed money to get it started. The parking lot's been improved, the sprinkler system's been installed. We've helped with some design work. So, and they're still raising money. So they're working real aggressive
Yeah.
to make that happen, but.
And they got 25,000 square feet in there. It's huge.
Yeah, I know.
And the roof
My
took almost
grandson
everything they
and,
had on the front
Mrs.
end.
Oh, okay.
Pamela, they did Christmas cheer in there. They
Yes.
volunteered, and that's when I saw the inside of it. They do have a lot of work on the inside, and I was
Yeah.
wondering if they won't ever get it finished.
Yeah, we've given them a 2-year extension, so they've got,
Yeah, but they're absolutely committed to
They're
that.
committed to
And,
doing it.
they've had bequests from people who have passed on, who really were concerned about that issue.
Mm.
And quite a bit of it, like I said, the roof was,
Okay.
yeah.
but yeah, moving right along.
Going from a grocery store to residential living space, it's a lot that has to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
All righty, let's see. Next
Questions and
question.
comments?
See, we have our list of dates down here, so. And you're gonna contact us about possibly serving to review these applications.
Yes, ma'am. I'm
Okay.
going to send that out tomorrow morning. With the key dates, I just wanted to remind you all that in April, that's National Fair Housing Month, along with our CD Week.
And if you guys remember, we always try to do something for, CD Week, some type of activity to educate the community on what we do and how those funds are used. If, we typically will do a proclamation before city council. When we've had a house, we've done a
That's
ribbon
true.
cutting. We don't have one this year, but we'll have to figure out something else to do. So we'll keep you posted.
Okay.
And then, these are your next meeting dates.
Next meeting dates, fourth Monday, every number month at 6. And
So
your
April
dates are
23rd.
listed for you, so make sure you keep your copy of your, they're normally on the calendar too, so you misplaced this, just look at your city calendar. They'll be on the end. But our next prevalent date will be Monday, April the 23rd, 2018. No meeting for Christmas holiday.
You said you had something planned for CD Week, or?
Not
Do you?
yet. Other than the proclamation, nothing big, because we don't have any, we haven't built a new house, sold a new house. We'll find something.
Got some good rehab projects.
I know
set
There's a
y'all-
house to show.
I know
Yeah, we-
y'all do.
Thank you, sweetie.
Yeah, we've repaired some houses. Somebody might let us come to their house and show you.
Hopefully, we can do some commercial.
A commercial.
Yeah.
May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
We are now adjourned. This meeting is now over.